Welcome to Paddle Talk. It is episode 50. I can't believe it, and neither can the rest of our panel. But I tell you what, 50 episodes in, grateful and thankful that you guys are coming back to watch and to listen, depending where you're at. From myself and everybody involved, Caleb Mings, Billy Teeters, John Sorg, Dave Applegate, all of our guests, we greatly appreciate it, and we've got a great show for episode 50. Joining me on this first part is going to be producer extraordinaire Billy Teeters, our West Coast correspondent Caleb Mings. Joining me for some news and views right off the start, we have a segment with Dave Applegate on the South Georgia Motorsports Park race coming up. We also have Derek Howard coming on, talk about some Atoka stuff later on with Billy. We've got great content, so let's settle in. Let's get this party started. Gentlemen, Caleb Mings and Billy Teeters, how we doing tonight? And what's up in your neck of the woods?
Man, so stoked. 50 episodes.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget, we also have Esteban Juarez joining us towards the end of this episode, where he'll actually be talking with Isaac and Caleb. I won't be here, but and don't forget Damien. Damien's a big part of this too. You almost skipped out on Damien there, Isaac. But yes.
What about K-Dub? You're not giving K-Dub some love.
Well, there's too many members.
What would we do without K-Dub vision?
That is true. And let's face it, Mini Mooch brings something to the table that none of us are capable of doing.
No.
Whether it's eyesight or sketchy facial hair, I'm not sure, but just kidding, man. Love you and your squirrels, buddy. So don't hate me. All right.
Well, he's such an encyclopedia about the sport in all facets.
Unbelievable how he pulls stuff out, and whether it's mud, sand, dirt, just amazing how he can pull stuff out and knows it. And you know what? He's right most of the time. I honestly have doubted him in the past and come up short on that end. So.
Well, he can tell you who won a mud bog event in 1989 at a monster truck event somewhere in Indianapolis. Probably it's just crazy.
Which I'm trying to figure
like
out
a steel trap,
because that's borderline when he was born. So I'm not sure how that works exactly.
Oh man!
All right. Well, hey, let's get right into it. Let's just kick off with possibly the big news of this past weekend, early this week, when this is being shot, and that is Lake Elsinore Motorsports Park canceling the motocross track basically schedule permanently from here on out. Caleb Mings, as our West Coast correspondent, let's fill people in on kind of what transpired, and then we can kind of talk about where do we go from here a little bit.
Yeah, Isaac. So I'll give you guys kind of a little bit about what I know is going on, which admittedly is not much. You guys probably, if you are following the news with this online anywhere, you probably know just about as much as I do. Earlier in the year, there was an incident that involved a young girl on an electric dirt bike where she was involved in an accident with an older kid on a gas-powered dirt bike that led to the little girl losing her life. And
rest in peace. Don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, a sucky situation all the way around. And unfortunately, as this stuff kind of often ends up being accompanied by there's a lawsuit involved. And to my understanding, there's lots of finger pointing going back and forth with exact nature of the incident on the track. I do not know really the full capacity of the story there, but the lawsuit is going after the motocross track as well as the property owner of the actual whole motorsports park grounds. And at that point, the property owner is wanting to end the lease on that property my belief is to kind of avoid some of the liability there if there is any from this lawsuit. So the big question is, where does this leave the other tracks that are on that property? Because they do have a flat track, and of course it is home to the SoCal Sand Drag Association for the Sand Drags.
Billy Teeters.
I did some digging on their Facebook post because they did post it 3 days ago. Well, okay, first of all, we're filming a few days before this Episode comes out on Thursday, but Thursday the 7th. Today's the 5th that we're filming on. And I look at their post from 3 days ago where they're announcing the closing of the motocross track due to a lawsuit after the tragic accident and whatnot. And just going through the comments here, all their other races are canceled. And it looks like their flat track stuff is canceled. Some of these comments are kind of crazy, to be honest. I think so.
Oh
but,
yeah, no, it's fair warning if you guys are going and following some of the Lake Elsinore Motorsports Park posts. It's like I said, there's a lot of finger pointing, which it really is sucky when you're dealing with the loss of a life, and there's a lot of negativity, both just disappointment that this is kind of the end of things there, because motocross has been part of Lake Elsinore since the 60s out here. So it's a legacy thing. And like I said, getting into the sand drag side of things, Mike and Terry Gazzini, they're hard at work right now. We may have more information on how this is going to affect the sand drags by the time this episode comes out. So I would say stay tuned to the SoCal Sand Drag Facebook page. When they know something, folks, like they will make official announcement on there. I'm sure they will share it on our page as well. But at this point, like, they're still trying to work things out to still be able to pull the races there, because obviously, what occurs with the motocross track, that's completely independent to the sand drag track. And same thing for the flat track. They run their own shows, so they're hard at work right now. Have some patience with them, and hopefully this isn't the end of racing in Southern California.
Well,
yeah, and just
go ahead.
There,
Isaac,
there are people out there that don't kind of may have a hard time understanding. The Lake Elsinore Motorsports Park is a multi-use facility, like Caleb said. Multiple tracks on there. This is not just a hey, it's only a sand drag facility, or it's only something else. There's a multi-use facility out there. And just because something's happened now possibly with the flat track, but for surely with the motocross track, does not necessarily mean dire straits for the sand drag track. So I just want to make sure we head that off before anything gets started out there, and people start speculating. At this point in time, there is nothing out there that would lead us to believe that there is a problem there. But on the other hand, yes, possibly there are some issues for the property owner. Therefore, hey, it's something at least to be talked about, if not to be kept an eye on. Billy Teeters.
I will probably unfortunately disagree with you on that, as I've seen posts from Tristan Graham saying that they need to get the K-rails and stuff out of there by the 26th this month. And not really posted, it was a Facebook story thing. But and then I seen another one today. He's talking about trying to get the community together and still keep the sand drags in Lake Elsinore, just not maybe at the motorsports park. Is kind of the vibe
Somewhere else. Yeah,
I'm getting.
I saw that as well.
Yeah. So
I think the important thing to take a note from that is that let's not be too hasty until every kind of plan is looked over and everything. Love Tristan, but he tends to be very reactionary, pretty quick on stuff. So
he's
he may be hearing different things.
Mike and Terry, and
he is, but he may be hearing one thing and then immediately oh man, everything's doomed. We're out of here. Like I said, they're still hard at work trying to figure stuff out. And as Isaac was saying, things are still up in the air. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the sand drags, but yes, looking at it, holistically, the property owner being involved, it very well could affect them. So I'm just saying, let's hold off judgment on anything with it until we know, for sure one way or the other.
It's hard to do. I definitely think they're probably done after seeing what's all happening. That's just me, but hopefully they're not. But it just doesn't feel like it may not happen. But I hope that if they can't stay there, that if they end up going somewhere else in the city, that'd be cool.
Yeah, right? No, it'd be awesome if they could keep in Lake Elsinore, because I know that was one of their their biggest issues when, San Jacinto, that whole deal with Saboba Casino ended. That was one of their biggest struggles, is trying to find a new home. And they're up in Victorville for a little bit. That didn't really work out, really, for a multitude of different reasons. And, they were back at Saboba for a little bit. And when they finally got to Elsinore, that seemed like it was a great deal. Everybody was really stoked about it. Great facility, centrally located, a lot closer into town for a lot of different, people.
Is there a casino in Elsinore?
Well,
A mile from
there's
the
no
track,
casino.
just like Saboba, because that was awesome.
No casino. But it was a lot closer to just restaurants and auto parts stores and all sorts of different amenities in Lake Elsinore there.
Yeah, very much so. And I got to say, just the idea of sand drag racing as a sport, not having a track in Southern California, even as a Midwest guy, that's kind of hard to fathom. And so hopefully we can come up with something out there and find a happy medium or something like that. So this is a developing story. We're going to stay on top of it. But yeah, at this point in time, that's where we're at. Billy, last word?
No, I ain't got nothing else about Lake Elsinore. I hope that shit works out for the better for everybody. But I do want to switch gears here and give a quick update on a couple racers that I know people are kind of probably maybe wondering about. David Turner. Yep, David Turner. It looks like he's getting closer to heading home.
Thank goodness.
There was a post from November 3rd, which was 2 days ago, Sunday, and it says that he was watching the Lions beat up on the Packers, which they certainly did. And then 2 days ago, we want to wait a few days, but to be sure before we told everyone, but we are happy to say he is awake now, staying up throughout most of the day. He is mostly just listens to us talk and occasionally responds with small nonverbal answers like yes or no when he's feeling up to it, or a nod. He also tries to watch TV from time to time. He was up all day yesterday and the day before with a few well-needed intermittent naps. Obviously, he can't talk to us, and it will be some time before he can hold conversations, but we are more than happy with his general company again and don't mind talking his ears off in the meantime. He knows everyone has been thinking of him during this time, and we are trying to not overwhelm him right now, as I'm sure it's a lot. It's a breakthrough for sure, and we are taking baby steps in the right direction to get him back to Michigan for further therapy. So they are on the up and up for David, and I don't know what the status is on him trying to get that plane ride back home. I'm sure they're closer to it now. I haven't talked to Jeff or anything, but yeah, last I knew they were trying to get him a ride home. So David Turner is definitely making strides after breaking a lot of bones and going through some crazy ass surgery. So good for David. A lot of the good for David Turner.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's awake again, man. I mean, that's the scariest part, is when you're involved in stuff like that and you're kind of in a medically induced coma type deal like he was. Like it's good when you wake up.
Absolutely. And anyone out there yet? I mean, we know that, obviously there's probably things going on that we don't know, but if there is anyone out there that's associated with Angel Flight or knows something like that and wants to contact us, we can put you in contact with the Turners or somebody from their family. If there is any way, possible, shape, form that somebody could help out and assist in that, I know they would not turn it down. Let's put it that way. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. And also somebody who's also doing a lot better than he is, who also got in an accident the same weekend on the other side of the country, was Roma J. Fowler, as his, I believe, wife posted a few days ago, 6 days ago. Never a serious moment with this guy. Roma has been in surgery for about an hour to repair his collarbone. The procedure should be done within an hour. Prayers sent up for him, the doctors, nurses, and all the hospital staff for a successful operation. And then they updated it afterwards. He is home in a lot of pain. The doctor said that the operation went well. He has a plate, several screws, and a grafting in place. Doctor said that the collarbone was in a rough shape and smashed. Thank you for all the prayers. Now it's time for a lot of rest and recovery. I don't know what grafting means, but that sounds painful. So
skin graft, I guess. They probably had to cut him open pretty decent. I mean, I saw an X-ray of his collarbone. Yeah, there wasn't much collarbone left from what I saw.
Ooh.
It was pretty darn messed up. So, and I feel bad for the Fowlers. They kept posting about different things that have happened to them during the month of October when this accident occurred, and it just seems like October is not their month for that family. They've had lots of different accidents on tracks and car wrecks and just crap hitting the fan, you know?
Oh yeah, his collarbone is destroyed. That is crazy. That X-ray. That is nuts.
Yeah, if there was ever a family that was happy to see the calendar flip from October to November, it was definitely the Fowlers. I 100% agree, Caleb. I was like, good night. How much more could this family take? Goodness. But sounds like he is back on the road to recovery and, probably going to be slow and, from the sounds of it, a little painful, but definitely making strides in the right direction. So happy to hear that as well.
I know another person that we can maybe give a little bit of an update on. I know I just saw something about this, I think earlier today. Blake Chavis. He had a cool update. His kind of recovery is going well, it seems, slowly but surely. I'm trying to find the post here. So it's going on 6 weeks of the healing process, and it's going great. Had his second checkup today. They took x-rays and said he'll be able to have his brace off in December, as long as he's got still enough strength and can up his weight limit of picking things up to 20 pounds. So a few more months, and hopefully he'll be back to 100%. So he's definitely up on the mend from his car accident.
Absolutely, man. Great to hear that. And Blake Chavis, man, hang in there, buddy. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing well, and keep at it. So
come on the pod.
Yeah. Come on the podcast. Why not? So, all right. Well, hey, it's that time of the year. We are down to kind of that weird in-between time. Not really a whole lot of racing going on, and stuff like that. So we're definitely always, if you have racing going on, we're definitely interested in hearing about it. So just a shout out. If you are out there and you are at a place where they're still doing some racing and stuff like that, you want to send us some results or even a recap or something, or even come on the podcast, we'd love to have you on. And I guess maybe we'll talk about this a little more down the road, but fresh schedule from our folks at MRA came out this week.
Let's talk about that real quick.
2025. And we're visiting a new place. Lyons, Indiana, home of Wagler Motorsports Park, which it turns out if you're into truck and tractor pulling, you definitely know all about that facility. And they also have a 8th Mile asphalt drag strip there as well. So
they do. They have an asphalt drag strip right next to where they're doing the it looks like a tractable track. It definitely does not look like a dirt drag setup, because the way it's set up, it has no shutdown area. So they're gonna have to flip it around and run the other way or something.
Absolutely. So very interesting. Kind of see how that comes off. That is a prime piece of real estate, because I tell you what, very centrally located. I could see guys from Michigan being real interested in making the trip down there to run, as well as most of your East Coast guys. Not such a huge run for them to get there. And of course, obviously the rest of the Midwest and the Southern guys kind of very centrally located. So I feel like the chances of that being a pretty good size race, probably pretty good. Billy Teeters, what do you got?
Yeah, that Wagler Motorsports Park, you go to their Facebook page, their cover photo is just like a drone image of their track. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks like the layout. I just put a lemon head, so it's kind of hard to talk. But they got my kid's Halloween candy sitting right here, so I help myself.
Dad tax.
Exactly, dad tax. But the Wagler Motorsports Park looks like a great facility. It definitely looks like they're gonna have to flip the track and run backwards, which still looks like they have plenty of room, because they got plenty of room for staging and stuff like that. But yeah, the way they got it right now, it looks like they run their tractor pools into where they have like a giant barrier that looks like a couple big storage containers or something. But yeah, they're definitely have to flip it around and run the other way. And then once they do that, they're gonna have plenty of room for shutdown and all that stuff. Hopefully, it's not an ice rink in the shutdown if they do that. But
Yeah, they may
looked
even
like-
be able to open that area up there, Billy, because I mean that sure looks like they can move those, and they've got some extra land there.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
depending on what the contours
your
are,
point-
I think it could be really, really good.
Yeah, it looks like it's a lighter style dirt too, which that'll be interesting. I think it'll be a little bit closer to the Florida track because obviously you got they're going to be going back to Cook Station, Missouri for the second race of the year as well as the finals, and back to Gore Springs as well. And those are a little bit heavier tracks, so it's going to be interesting to see. You know, they're going to have to still kind of play around and find the setup that works for all these different facilities.
I wish we were going back to Nebraska though. Man, I had a good time in Nebraska. So, but I will say this: since the Nebraska place is not having MRA, I hope they can do more local stuff there to try to grow it. Because I heard that was something that they struggle with, is that they put on so much money to have MRA there that they can do as much local stuff. So now I hope they can do a bunch of local stuff and try to grow that place. And then that way, maybe instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races for MRA, they can go back there next year and have 6. That'd be sweet. This limit has
all I can say for them is promotion. You got to get out there, build your Facebook page up, talk to the locals, figure out what your class structure is for any of the local stuff if you need to add anything, but you got to talk about it. Don't just put up one post and expect people to show up.
Absolutely. That's you got to keep it front
I agree.
of people's minds and everything else. So
For sure.
For sure.
I had something else before. Man, I was gonna say something else, but what? I don't remember. Somebody said something else before I started thinking.
All right. Well, I mean, that pretty much wraps up our news and views section. We've got great stuff coming up. Stay tuned. I believe we have. Are we having Dave Applegate coming up next?
Coming up next is actually Derek Howard and myself. And then after that will be me, Isaac, and Dave. And then after that will be Caleb, Isaac, and Esteban to talk about Dome.
Close out the show.
Awesome. And then when Dave comes on, I should have said this. We're going to talk about speeders. Coming up next, me and Derek are going to talk about Atoka's belt race, which is hopefully going to happen. There's a weather scare right now. They had like 5 inches of rain over the weekend. So,
oh man.
But as I said with Derek, track's on top of the hill. It's sand, so they're expecting sun today, which is Tuesday, and tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So hopefully by the time race day comes around on Friday, testing Tuesday on Friday, race day on Saturday, everything will be all good. But just real quick, when we're filming this intro, we already did 2 segments. We haven't done the Esteban segment quite yet, but I will say, Caleb, I'm excited for Dome. I'm ready to see what happens.
I am too.
You're racing.
I am. I'm not in the points on anything because I've been missing events or playing with New Bike Blues, but I am showing up to play points. Surprise to to different people. I know there's a couple other, California boys and stuff, and some Vegas people that are probably looking to do the same. So I think it's gonna be a good event. But we'll talk about that a little bit.
Looking forward to it.
Little teaser. That's okay, Caleb. Teasers are okay.
Fantastic. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. It is episode 50 with Caleb Mings and Billy Teeters. I'm Isaac DeHaan, and we've got some great content coming up for you.
Hey, folks. This episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily. Hey, welcome back to Paddle Talk. We are sitting here with Derek Howard. Isaac may be joining us in here in just a second. I'm a little eager to get going. Big plans today. Chiefs are playing. And anyway, we're sitting here with Derek Howard. We're going to talk about the upcoming race this weekend, which supposed to start tomorrow, weather pending, at Atoka Motorsports Park for the belt race that they do every year. We're going to have Derek explain what that is. Derek, how's it going?
Going good. Like you said, supposed to. We've probably got close to 7 inches of rain since Thursday or Friday. I know Mom dumped out 4.5 inches yesterday about 2 o'clock, and we've got a lot last night and today. Tornado warning, all that stuff. So lots of rain.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and we're recording this on Monday. You guys are watching this on Thursday, but yeah, and we've had some weather up here in Topeka that I'm sure had made its way down there to where y'all are at. My front yard is flooded, so if that's what hit you guys, then yeah, I can imagine that the track is pretty soggy. And the weather forecast, how's it looking down there for Atoka?
It should move out. What I looked at, it should move out tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, good. No rain in the forecast. Highs around 68, 70 degrees, sunny. So 2 days of drying. Then it moves back in Thursday and Friday. 40 or 50% chances. So it could hit, could not hit. So never know with 40, 50% chances. And then Saturday, highs were around 65, lows 48, I believe is what I saw. So Saturday, little cool side, but doable. It's been colder.
For sure. I mean, I've been down to Atoka when it was like 40 degrees and we're running top eliminator cars. So, I mean,
Yeah, you were there that one year we were all freezing to death.
Yeah. 2017 or something like that. I don't know, but it was cold, but it was a good time. And usually Atoka holds, well, it does well with the rain from my experience. You guys are up on that hill. The sand does a really good job of kind of just soaking it in, and it does dry fairly quick, so that is good too. And from my experience racing in Atoka in November, I believe that's when the track is at its fastest. That's just my personal opinion. Others could say otherwise, but I think that track is very fast once you got a lot of moisture in it.
Yes.
But yeah, hopefully weather holds off, and we're going to assume for the rest of this conversation that it's going to. And I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make the trek down there this weekend, whether good weather or not. Some things that came up personally, and we just can't make it. So, but what is the belt race for people who don't know? And you guys do it every year, so what is it?
Belt race is the best of the best, basically, from Atoka. You've either had to get a first or second trophy or money, any class. As long as you have a first or second, it's from juniors all the way up to top alcohol. If we have top alcohol throughout the year, unfortunately this year we didn't. So top eliminator to juniors. Put them on a bracket and run them. We've done it several different ways. We've had cars run cars until the final, and then quads against the quad, and then a dragster meet a quad. So formats changed over the years. This year we're kind of looking at all the pro trees on one side of the ladder with their bracket, all the full size on full tree classes on their side of the bracket, split the tree in the final, pro tree, full tree, and could have 2 dragsters, you could have 2 quads, you could have a mixture. So that's still
that's kind of different
on that.
Yeah, that's kind of different. I didn't know that you guys were kind of leaning towards doing something like that. I always enjoy the belt race. Was it always just a sport light class whenever you guys ran in the past?
As far as I can remember, it's always been the full tree, the sport light. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's kind of the breakdown of what the belt race is. And you guys run your usual points racing classes as well, besides top eliminator. I mean, you got your Pro 1s, Pro 2s,
Yes,
Pro 1 bike, Pro 2 bike, Pro 3 bike, juniors, and eight Pee-wees. Pee-wees do not qualify, correct?
that is correct. You got to be at least a junior up.
All right, a junior up can only make the
Yes.
belt race. What was that?
Just because on the Pee-wees you got 3, 4, 5-year-olds, you really don't want them to run Randy Kimbley's 2.95-second top eliminator car.
It would be quite a race. No, no, just kidding. No,
Quite a
you
race.
definitely don't want. You don't want kids going up against top eliminator cars. But
And the juniors are even a little risky on that.
yeah,
Well,
but they are more experienced, so
they do
that's
have
why
a
they're
little bit
racing in
more
juniors.
Yep. So hopefully nothing bad happens. We'll just put it like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Derek, thank you for joining us for a short time on this episode of Paddle Talk. If you guys are running, I mean, as of this time, we don't know. We could be updating it by the end of this episode or at the beginning, who knows. But the belt race at Atoka is always a good time. As I said, I think November is the fastest that track is. And if you're looking for something to do and you're in the area, that's definitely something to go check out because you can race in the pro classes and their classes during the day, and you get in the finals of one of those classes. Besides Pee-wees, you can make it to the belt race that night. So it's still going to be a
Yep.
good time, Derek.
If you're not qualified, you got one opportunity. Because we're not doing the trophy, we're just doing a money race and the belt race. So if you're not qualified, get a first or second, then you get in.
Well, that's right. There you go. Well, hey, Derek, thanks a lot. And we'll be talking with you soon for the results from that belt race. And don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to be coming right back at you. We're going to be talking with Dave Applegate about the Southern Powersports Drag Racing Series race at South Georgia Motorsports Park coming up next week. Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, RacingInTheDirt.com. That is RacingInTheDirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Episode 50 of the Paddle Talk podcast. And our next segment is going to be a good one. Joining me, Dave Applegate from the Southern Powersports Drag Racing Series. And of course, producer and all-around information guy, Billy Teeters as well. And we are talking about the SPDRS race, or speeders, as you might like to say, down at South Georgia Motorsports Park coming up November 14 through 16. It's going to be big. It's going to wrap up the year. Dave Applegate, what do we have in store? I think it's going to be awesome, but what do we got?
Well, let's start with this. I want to get this out here real quick. We've had a few sponsors come in, and we still have another guy that's talking about it. But right now, for the last race of SPDRS, thanks to a lot of people, we are sitting at $15,900 to hand out in 2 days.
In 2 days.
Friday and Saturday.
That is fantastic.
I am excited for it and also nervous about it, I'll be honest. Thursday, we were hoping to get some tests and tune in. That's unfortunately not going to happen. But Thursday, the 14th is definitely a day that you can come in, set up, we'll do some cornhole and stuff like that, or sit around the fire, have a couple cold ones, whatever. But I got some really cool news that I heard from Raul Torres, the owner of South Georgia Motorsports Park. They have a couple professional drag teams that are going to be there Thursday and Friday testing on the blacktop.
Awesome.
So Thursday, we can go over and watch these boys. Now, I don't know what they are, how quick they are, I don't know. But from what I understand, we're gonna watch them, and they're gonna kind of meander over to the dirt side, kind of watch us guys on Friday too. So it's going to be interesting. I will try my best to find out who that is, but they got some big boys there from what I've been told. Mud Park's going to be open. The trails are going to be open. Man, I don't even know where to start, man. Raul Torres and his family at South Georgia Motorsports Park has been fantastic. There's been a lot of concern about the track because there's not a lot of pictures. We had a hurricane go through. So, and then he had, what was that? Was that lights out? I think he had, or No Mercy,
Yes.
I think happened. So he's been busy. I can tell you, I talked to him today, and today is Monday, correct? Right now. So
That is correct.
The equipment's there. The track is getting done. We will be good to go. He's not going to let us down, man. I did a long video here, last week sometime about it. But yeah, man, it's going to be good. We've got TKM Power Sport Performance that jumped in to help out with our Pro Comp class, which is full size against side by sides on Friday night. And then we had Mr. Wayne Gunter from Gunter Automotive jumped in. Thank you, Wayne. He jumped in and he put $500 up for the full size bracket on Saturday. So we got two guys in a matter of actually 2 days. We got another $1,000 from TKM and Gunter Automotive, which is fantastic.
And I'm sure Wayne is going to be there to try to win his own money. So there is
Wayne.
part of that.
There you go, Wayne.
Well, Wayne, I really like Wayne, and we've raced each other. And hey, Wayne, remember what happened the last time I had to run you, don't you, buddy?
Oh,
Remember that? Somebody playing games. Yeah. I say that because me and Wayne was on the phone the other night, and he was cracking up. He's like, I can't do that no more. Wayne's been fantastic, man. Thank you. And just so everyone knows, TKM Performance is actually a part of Mr. RPM Cycle. He's in cahoots with those guys, and thanks to Greg Laughlin for getting with them and add another $500 to our Pro Comp class. So greatly appreciated. We also have Travis Burney from Burney Racing has threw in another, I think it's $300. No, another $500 into some classes as well. So we've gained that as well. I mean, man, we're already at 15.9. I never would have expected that.
That's awesome. All right, so let's talk about, so Thursday's kind of our move-in day. Friday, yes, we're doing test and tune till 6, and then we're going to jump right into a Pro Comp class, which you said is full size versus side-by-sides. And then we're also going to have like an ATV bracket. Is that kind of what's on the schedule so far?
So, yeah, so it'll be Pro Comp Friday night, ATV only bracket race to follow. So we've had some trouble there where I've had some guys ask me about, hey, is this all side-by-sides? And I guess they say that because everybody knows I'm around side-by-sides. This is not just side-by-sides, man. We are bringing it all there. So, yeah, that's Friday night, Pro Comp and ATV only. That's test and tune noon to 6, depending on how many people we get. They might have to back that up if, as far as to get it in by curfew.
Okay. And then Saturday, what are we, we're to start again, a little test and tune from what, 10 to 2, something like that?
Yes, sir. So our plan is 10 to 2. We may go a little bit longer. But I can tell you guys the amount of phone calls and messages that we have gotten, myself and some others that are helping me, we may have to back this up because we won't be able to get in by curfew. If this many people come that are saying they're coming, and we all know how that is, it could or could not happen. But if it happens, we're going to have to start racing a little bit earlier than what we thought. So we kind of moved that from 10 a.m. to 2. That'd be 4 hours of testing. So if you're coming Saturday, you need to be there early. Because once we start, if we got this many people that we're expecting, doesn't mean it'll happen. But if we do, I've got to go by the curfew there at South Georgia, which I think is 11. I think he was going to check, see if we can get to midnight, but we've got to get it in. So, and we've got a lot of stuff planned. Isaac, if you don't mind, I'll run through that real quick. On Saturday, we've got ATV bar, ATV no bar, ATV 4x4 outlaw, ATV 4x4 NA. They are outlaw side-by-side class. We have 10 index classes. We have the full-size bracket class. The 10 index classes. I said this on my video the other night. The reason there's 10 index classes, we don't fill all 10 index classes. Everybody knows that. It's to get an idea of what we need to do for next year, right? So I'm finding out that, to be honest, our 50, 480-ish index is the biggest. So, we're going to keep that in mind for next year, but there's a lot of racing on Saturday. It's going to be rolling. Be ready to go for sure.
And most classes are either a $40 or $50 entry fee is all?
So our outlawed, let's do that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Isaac. So our classes are 70-30 split. That includes our guaranteed payouts. So Isaac, I tell you what, do you have that in front of you? You want to run that?
I do actually. Yep.
So you should see outlaw side by side. Just run it on down, or I can do it for you if you like.
Yep. No, I'd be happy to, Dave. So outlaw side by side, guys, is going to be a $250 entry fee, $2,800 guaranteed, plus 75% of whatever entry fees are paid. Outlaw 4x4 ATV, also $250 entry fee. Again, $2,800 guaranteed payout plus 75% of the entry fees. Our 4x4 ATV NA, which is naturally aspirated class, entry fee is going to be $200 with $2,000 guaranteed payout plus 75% of entry fee. Then ATV bar, entry fee is $100, $1,200 guaranteed payout with 75% of the entry fee. ATV no bar, again, $100 entry fee is going to be $1,200 guaranteed to pay plus 75% of the entry fee. The ATV bracket, which is no full size, ATVs only, $40 entry fee, guaranteed $200 entry fee plus 75% of the entry fee. And let's face it, that could be a huge class. So that class could end up paying out a big, big amount of money at the end of the night. And then we've got Pro Comp, which is a Friday night class, $50 entry fee, 100% payback. That's full sizes versus side by sides only. Pro Tree dial the nearest 10th. So
plus the five. That's not on there yet. Plus the $500 from TKM Performance on top of that. So it's guaranteed 500 now.
And that's guaranteed payout, folks. That's not any percentage or anything. That is 100% payback guaranteed. Then we have full-size bracket, which is full-size cars, dragsters, alters, trucks, Jeeps, you name it. $40 entry fee, 100% payback. And does that class have some added money too, Dave?
Yep, $500 from Gunter Automotive.
And there we go. And then all the index classes are $40 entry fees. Everyone guaranteed $280 payback plus 75% of whatever entry fees come in for the class. And like Dave said, there's what, 10? Did you say 10 index classes? Folks, get in where you fit in, man. There is I mean, seriously, if I was closer, there's a ton of racing you can do this weekend and not pay out a whole ton of money. I mean, let's face it. And Wayne's going to be there. You know it's going to be a good time. I mean, let's face it. Wayne's probably in, even with the added 500s, in for about half of what a normal race trip costs him. So he should be doing pretty well. And Wayne's always a fun guy to hang out with. Dave's going to be there. South Georgia Motorsports Park, known for putting on big and very, very well-run events. I tell you what, man, it's going to be awesome. Dave, what are kind of some of our wrap ups here? And let's talk about, people stepping up to the plate and making sure this is happening.
I tell you what, man, I don't want the cat out of the bag here, but there is a possibility that Mr. Doug Vinlett may be bringing the Grinch down.
Now we're talking.
So we've got him. He's on the fence. He's thinking about it. That's not a guarantee, but he's thinking about it. We've got a guy named Mike Donati. He's coming. We've got Tommy Walker and his crew. We've got Randy Robertson. We've got John Smith that's bringing, I think, 4 or 5 of the no bar car four-wheelers. I mean, I've got a list here, guys. I can't believe the amount of people that are coming. There's some guys coming from West Palm Beach. We've got Alex Kopecki from Michigan. He's coming down with a side-by-side. Man, there's so many. We've got HCL Contracting. Mr. Casey Smith has been huge help. Huge help. He's bringing a timing system, brand new timing system, bringing some equipment, help with the track. We've got, Raul Torres. Like I said, man, I can't say enough about him and his track, what he's doing. Travis Burney's been a huge help helping get this out. Ken Donaldson's going to be there. Ken Donaldson's been a huge help as well, and I just love that truck, man. I'm sorry, I love that truck.
Shout out to Ken, he's the man.
Oh my God,
shout out to Ken.
I mean, guys, I could go on and on. Ricky Thorpe. I talked to Ricky Thorpe the other day at my shop, my work, sitting in my service truck with my manager walking back and forth looking at me. And I'm like, Ricky, I got to go. And Ricky talked and talked. Love Ricky to death. Ricky's on board. He wishes he could go. He can't make it. But, man, I don't know. I don't – if I say who, I'll miss somebody. Lonnie Angels helps. I don't know, man. There's so many people. I can just tell you that if you ain't doing nothing, y'all need to be there because there's money to win. We've got blacktop racing we can watch. We got the mud pit open. The trails are open. If there's not a class there for you, I don't know what to tell you. Because, I mean, our last index class right now is a 550. If we get one of these other index classes that don't fill, we'll move it to 6.0. We'll move one to 6.0, man. It's a racer's race. We're there. We're going to make it happen. I don't know what else to say, Isaac. I'm doing everything I can. My guys that are helping me are doing everything we can. We're doing our best, man. We're going to make this happen.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, it sounds like it's going to be a great race. If people are interested, now remember, this is next weekend, November 14 through 16. If you're interested in getting on board, whether as a sponsor or coming down for the race, get a hold of Dave, or you can get a hold of World Sand Drag News, and we'll get you guys connected together. It sounds like it's going to be a great race. I hope it goes well. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, Dave, we'll give you the last word on the race, and we'll wrap things up here.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Those who have followed SPDRS and helped SPDRS, I greatly appreciate it. We have a lot of things coming up next year. We are going to do some weight classes. I don't want to say the guy's name yet until I get it confirmed, but I have someone that called me this week that said they are willing to donate a brand new set of scales for next year. So
there we go.
Yes, definitely looking forward to that. We're going to be doing points next year, and not every race, of course, but we're going to be doing points. There's a lot to come. Just stay with us, man. Help support it. Let's show. Really, honestly, let's show South Georgia Motorsports Park what we do and what we can do, because as we all know, there's other series out there that's been around longer than me that may take advantage of that. If we can prove that South Georgia is a place to go and a good place, maybe we can get these other guys to come in and keep that racetrack going. I mean, that's what it'd be the only true racetrack, if you will, in Georgia right now. I mean, there's some mom and pops that are really good. Don't take me wrong, but it would be the only true racetrack in Georgia. I need your all's help. Need your all's help to make this happen.
All right. No, Dave, spot on. So, all right, guys and gals. So that's where we're at. SPDRS our Southern Power Sports and Drag Racing Series event, South Georgia Motorsports Park, November 14 through 16. And that's going to wrap up our very early preview.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, RacingInTheDirt.com. That is RacingInTheDirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It is episode 50 of the Paddle Talk podcast. I am joined for this segment by producer extraordinaire Caleb Mings and all-around West Coast correspondent and Mr. Esteban Juarez from Dome Valley Raceway. Gentlemen, it's good to see you tonight. At least it's tonight where I'm at. I don't know about you guys, but either way. How are we doing? And let's dive right into it. This weekend, which is literally the day after this pod's going to drop, November 8, 9, and 10, we have racing at Dome Valley Raceway. So, Esteban, tell us what's going on and what maybe kind of surprise did you drop today, the day of our filming, for the racers coming up this weekend?
Yeah, so for today, and the thing is, honestly, I would just go ahead and say that this is something we've had planned for the last couple of months, but with all the conversation behind the point series, I decided, I'm going to announce this the week of the event. And this event here is going to be a points plus event. So pretty much for our qualifying classes as top alcohol, top eliminator, they will be receiving additional 50 points for the number one qualifier after Saturday. And this is mostly just to transition into more points being able to be gained by racers. This is our first year doing the point series, so I was pretty light on how you can gain points within this first season so that it's not too confusing for the racers. We definitely are going to implement more ways to get points in the 2025 point series that we host. But for this event, the pretty much winners of each class of the point series will be receiving a 50 additional points versus the just normal 100, so that it can kind of stir the points up. It can give those number 4, 5, 6 even maybe for some of these classes, because a lot of them are pretty close. Give them an opportunity, to also have a chance at winning the championship instead of it just being, a solidified win for number 1 or 2. Kind of wanted to stir it up and make sure that the ones at number 1 aren't so settled for this event, so that they got their eyes on the prize and they're pushing for that win, versus just thinking they're going to coast past the finish line.
I love it, man. We are not going to reward complacency. You're going to have to race for it is what it boils down to, man. I love it. It's great. Caleb Mings, being a guy that races there, how do you feel about that?
I think it should be double points so that I have a chance of winning. I had to sit out one race from the Dome Valley Championship due to my wedding, and didn't do so hot on our first race. We had bikes break and new bike blues, so didn't place very well in the one race I was able to attend. So I think we should race a little bit more, Esteban.
Hey, and it's so funny. I feel like I hear that more frequently from those racers that are a little lower on the point. So definitely got to do it too generously. But I will say in the 2025 season, we will be having 2 events that are points plus events. Currently, we have 4 scheduled point series events. With some news that is circulating around California, we may be possibly adding a 5th race into our point series. We definitely do have a lot of new racers that have gotten really excited for the point series that haven't really raced with us in the past couple of years. So they are super excited to join in with us starting January, just to go ahead and try to get that point series championship. We definitely have some exciting prizes this first go around for the racers, but following next year, I definitely plan on bringing on some sponsors for some cash prizes to make it a little bit more worth it for these racers that commit a lot of their time and efforts into the sport.
I love it, man. And I tell you what, I have always felt that, good racing, Southern California, Arizona really speaks to the health of our sport and is really needed because, hey, you guys need a place to race. That's just what it boils down to. So that's awesome. Dome is a fantastic facility. Speaking from being there myself, if you've never been, you owe it to yourself to get out there, whether it's this race, end of 2024 or next year during 2025. I can tell you, you will not be disappointed. So, all right. So let's talk about this weekend though. Friday the 8th. All right, let's talk. Friday the 8th. What can guys expect when they're rolling in there Friday morning?
Oh, this place is going to be packed. I already have 5 top eliminators on property. Got calls about many more showing up tomorrow. So you're definitely going to be pulling into a racetrack that has a lot of racers already on it, ready for the weekend, which is super exciting. The place is going to be set up to par, planners everywhere, speakers everywhere. I actually hired an announcer that has done Monster Jam events and Monster Truck events in the past throughout the country. So we're going to have somebody here speaking consistently to all of our spectators to make the whole event exciting. We do have the index classes and the gambler running on Friday, along with the qualifying of top alcohol and top eliminator for 1 and 2Q. So yeah, the show's just going to get started up on Friday. We start at noon, and then going into Saturday, we have our sports classes and whatnot. So definitely looking forward to the entire weekend. But yeah, rolling in, you're definitely going to see a lot of cars and a lot of new faces that haven't been so frequently around here. But that's all we're trying to do around here is to continue to grow the sport.
Sweet.
I'm coming for that 395 ATV index.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of guys reaching out to me. I've always tried to pay attention, to what a lot of our racers are consistently running. And yeah, the 395 index ATV seemed like it was a really popular choice to make because there's a lot of bikes that run within that number. They either got to just tune it up a bit or they tune it down a bit. So definitely want to be able to implement some more ATV classes in our program, especially being a PSDA race facility throughout the seasons to come, as we do have an event in 2025 and plan to have events with the following years to come. So definitely want to be able to bring some more action for the ATV guys, but they're slowly starting to trickle in. There's a lot of really good dune events that they support and go to, which I totally understand, but we're definitely doing what we can to try to bring more ATVs out.
Absolutely. No, I like it. And then, so Sunday's our pro day for eliminations and stuff like that then?
Correct. Yes. So sport classes will be running on Saturday. I personally was a child that grew up racing, and that is what has driven this extreme passion for the sport, to where I didn't like seeing kids waiting until Sunday morning to make their first passes. So starting Saturday morning, we have the kids all make 4 just time runs. It's not even qualifying runs. It's just allowing them to get on the track and get a feel for the lights and be able to get some seat time versus having to wait, the entire event, just eager to get into that seat. So we have our sport classes following that, then Q3 and 4 for top alcohol, top eliminator. And then we have our pro classes on Sunday following eliminations for those heads up classes.
Sweet, man. No, I love it. And kids getting more time on the track, I feel you can't really go wrong with that idea, right? I mean, let's face it, a parent, they put in the effort to get their kid on something, to get them going down the track and everything else. And, to go to an event and only possibly get 3 passes out of the deal. Sometimes it's a little discouraging. As a junior parent, having been a junior parent myself, there's days it's like, man, seriously, we dragged all this stuff down here. We got 3 passes, and now I'm putting it back in the trailer. And now, not only does my kid want to know why he only got to make 1 pass in eliminations, but now my wife wants to know why I screwed that up. And that's never a good thing either. So, hey, man, that is spot on. Getting the kids more involved. You can't go wrong with that. So, all right. So, Caleb, pro class on Sunday or spectator on Sunday?
Oh no, I'm taking full advantage of this. Obviously, haven't done a ton of racing this year, which really sucks. So no, Ming's Racing is coming out in force, and going to be pulling a lot of double duty between the two bikes. Definitely will run Pro One, ATV Pro One, and Pro Two ATV. My dad's got his bike out there, fresh build on his 4 mil Cub, and looking to lay down some good numbers. And of course, bringing you guys the coverage with World Sand Drag News. We're going to be on site all 3 days, and tons of live feeds, photos, videos. We're going to get the behind the scenes action. Probably talk with Esteban more on some of that stuff. We'll be up in the tower, a lot of the day, and yeah, it's going to be good.
I love it. Esteban, give me a couple names, top eliminator guys to look out for this weekend.
Guys to look out for. Let me go ahead and pull up this list. Well, one thing I got to say is you can never count out our boys from Las Vegas. They got it down to the number, to the light. They're solid. Ever since they've been coming to Dome from the very get-go, they have always been contenders. And whenever I say the Las Vegas boys, I'm meaning Terry Crawford and Mark Punos actually sitting at number 1 and number 2. We do have Jim and Nassinger at number 4. Also can't let Eric Hickey go too sly. He just pulled the win at Lake Elsinore, which is big props to them. They've been coming over at Dome, testing with us and making sure that they can get their new project dialed in. And they literally got it dialed in the first time coming out to Dome Valley, which was awesome to see because we know that they worked extremely hard for that. So the top eliminator classes definitely can go anywhere. We also do have Triple Threat Racing making an appearance for the finale event of the 2024 season. So their entire plans are to come and stir up the point series and making sure that they can possibly get that number 1 guy out in round 1 and try to stir things up. But I definitely would say that Terry Crawford, Mark Punos, Eric Hickey, those guys are the ones that you want to take a look out for. We also do have some newcomers, like obviously not a newcomer, Tommy Savala. He's got a new power plant in that dragster of his that is stellar. It's a rocket ship. They really got that dialed in. From what I've heard, they're planning on running top alcohol and top eliminator. So I'm going to have to coordinate the event that way so that we can allow them a little bit of cool time in between each run because they will be doing double qualifying for both classes. So definitely got some names up there that are going to be running some fast numbers and then also detuning it a little bit for top eliminator to just make the show that much more exciting.
Is there any possible way we can manipulate things for, say, a Friday night Eric Hickey, Tommy Zavala, top eliminator, grudge race type of deal? I mean, neither one of those guys are shy about talking about what they're going to do. And I highly enjoy watching the two of them express themselves, so to speak.
No, for sure. And you know what? As I know a lot of people would love to see that. I know a lot of people they're both two passionate individuals when it comes to their teams and what they do. And hey, you know what? Whenever I saw what was going down, I was clapping for it, because our sport needs that intensity. And at the end of the day, I know these guys love each other and it's all tough love. And I know for a fact that they would love to have a grudge race. And hey, they're parked pretty close to themselves on the grass in Dome Valley, so they may be pulling into the staging lanes right next to each other.
There we go.
I think with very little manipulation, that's definitely something that could happen. And Caleb, I expect some good live video out of that.
Oh, we will definitely get that. Another thing I want to see, speaking of some grudge match racing, I know we got a racer from Oregon that came down, Mr. Wade Powell, making the trip. So he's got this kind of a newer build for him. Had it out a couple times this season. It's a Vicky bodied altered, and there's another Chevy Vicky bodied altered that we know that I believe is making the trip, right, Esteban? A certain blue car?
Who are you saying?
Nick Schultzman. So he's from what I understand, his new motor's done.
I didn't want to throw out some wrong names, but yes, Nick Schultzman is coming. He is coming in the beautiful original blue Bayou, the blue car. He wasn't able to get the new chassis done, and there's no reason to rush these monsters, especially when they're going sub 3 seconds. So he felt a little bit more comfortable putting that monster behemoth of a motor that he just put together in his old chassis. But hey, he's definitely coming here to run some numbers in top alcohol, and they're super excited to try to take the win as they currently sit 40 points ahead of Jim Nassinger.
Well, I want to see the Vicky bodied altereds make a little grudge match as well. I'm sure Wade's probably going to be running top eliminator, but I know that they've talked in the past that they want to see those cars going down the track at the same time. So make for a cool little photo op there for sure.
Oh yeah, I just met the boys from Oregon. Great family, great individuals, and knowing Nick, always down to make a test hit or go down the track. So I'm sure he'd be willing to make one of his qualifying runs, maybe a little grudge race as well.
That's awesome, man. I love it. That is good stuff right there. So yeah, and those are definitely two cars that make great photo op. Love front engine stuff, and those are two really, really good rides. So all right, Esteban, anything else you want anybody to know that's thinking about coming out, whether it's racing or spectating for this weekend?
Yeah, to anybody that's interested and still hasn't decided yet whether to come, just know that you're going to come out to a great environment. We're set to I have been having high expectations that this is going to be one of the best events that I've hosted up to date. I'm currently actually building a car of my own that could have been done for this event, but with new racers and new spectators and sponsors that are possibly coming to just take a look at the event to hop on board in 2025. I wanted to make sure to cater to them and make sure that they have a great time with us at the facility. So the entire atmosphere is going to be great. I'm super excited about the new announcer that we were able to bring on board. I've done a lot of traveling to other motorsports events as IndyCar, NASCAR, and just have been able to pay attention to what makes these events stand out. And it's commentating. It's giving the show and a visual aspect for all these spectators versus just the cars. So that's something that I was really excited to take care of for the spectators that we bring in, because we do bring in quite a bit of spectators for our events, which we're proud of, and we just want to make sure to continue that great show. I personally have been doing a lot of recruiting when it comes to racers. I'm excited to announce that the Chris Minor racing team will be joining us for every single event in 2025 with both of their top alcohol cars, with more top alcohol cars from the California side going to be joining with us as well. So plenty of great racing to come in the soon future of Dome Valley. So this weekend is just going to be a little preview of what's all to come in 2025. It's definitely going to be excited. There's going to be some high tensions at the starting line. A lot of these racers are excited to put their championship caps on and get the 3-foot, 4-foot tall trophies and plaques that say that they pretty much are the champions of the 2024 season here at Dome Valley Raceway. And it's pretty exciting as well because this is the first annual point series. So no matter how many point series we decide to do in the future, this is going to be the first one ever, and there's never going to be another first.
That's right, man. You can only be the first guy one time, right? That's great. Well, hey, man, I hope it's as big as what we all think it's going to be. It is fantastic, and wish you guys all the best. Caleb Mings, last word of our segment here.
Well, I just want to say I'm looking forward to go out there and race. I'm looking forward to some awesome tacos at Dome Valley. You guys always have an awesome taco vendor out there. Someone to keep an eye out. I know we were talking about a lot of the big guys, but one person that's really looking to wrap up a whole mess of points championships is Eric Brown in that delayed reaction dragster. So if you guys see him, I know he's got some new race shirts. I think he'll probably be selling out there. So stop by his camp. Great family out there. And yeah, he's leading the points in the 395 Index, Sport 1, and Pro 2 points. And I'm sure he's in the mix in a couple other classes there too, right, Esteban? That with that points and a half.
He's for sure second place in, I believe, let me see, I'm taking a look at it here. Yeah, he's second place in Pro 1 as well. So yeah, they're the Brown family, him and Brittany are the perfect duo. They kill it every time in the stage lanes, and they also find time to make some time for Avery to hit the track as well. So it's awesome to just see that family become as successful as they have become within the last year. I remember them showing up with their new dragster as it was orange. The next event, it was gray, and now they got T-shirts that actually just got delivered to Dome Valley a couple of days ago. So I'll post the link on OfferUp. I'm just joking, but he will be selling it. So yeah, he got some really nice shirts and hoodies I know made. So yeah, definitely take a look at that because that team is definitely new, upcoming into the sand drag industry, and they support all the tracks, which is amazing.
Yep, fantastic. All right. Well, hey, folks, for myself, Caleb Mings, Mr. Esteban Juarez, that is our wrap-up of the upcoming race at Dome Valley Raceway. Be there or be square, November 8, 9, and 10.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily.